Getting his first ever shot at the Hughes Academy Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dorian Weber! And to my right, the champion. To my right. She is the inaugural, the reigning and defending Hughes Academy Champion. Representing Open's North Shore, this is Frankie Quinn! What is up?
What is up for you Dorian hips out there? Look, I know we're all busy people and we've got places to be, in fact. I've got somewhere to be late tonight, so I figured I'd save time by giving my acceptance speech for this championship right now. So if you guys can just bear with me, I've got a few acceptance speech. Okay? First of all, I'd like to thank my lawyer who unfortunately can't be here tonight because that celebrity did that thing again. Secondly, I'd like to thank Almighty Above, King of Kings, Champion of Champions, myself! That's right, because that's all I need! I just need myself making this honorable! And that's it! Alright, so now let's make it give some back.
Ladies and gentlemen there, sorry I'm late to the commentary desk. Looks like we're up to our first fall immediately. And the first fall goes to Frankie Quinn. Ladies and gentlemen, barely able to get to my commentary desk there. Dorian Weber thinking he's very much in favor of winning this championship. And he's the favorite. Looking to secure himself the belt before the match even started. Frankie Quinn making him pay though. And in going for our second fall there, Dorian Weber. And I tell you what, when I was in the ring doing introductions, I was looking at Dorian Weber as he made his way to the ring. And normally we see Dorian giving smiles and being goofy and playing mind games with people. But he has such a serious look on his face. Dorian Weber, and I was going to say, we're maybe seeing a different Dorian Weber, who's dropping the mind games, going back to the Dorian Weber that won him matches for 3 years in a row. But now we're seeing Dorian. Now we're seeing Dorian play the mind games, the antics, that have been winning him matches lately. And Dorian, not someone you want to take your eyes off. As I said, he comes out playing goofy, really trying to throw you off the game with his antics. And as soon as you leave an opening for him, like Frankie just did, putting her head through the ropes, he will take full advantage of that. But Frankie, not a competitor you want to be taking lightly. Using her experience, getting that first fall of the match so quickly. But she is well-versed and competed against opponents who are bigger and stronger than she is. And Dorian Weber certainly has the size and strength over Frankie. This is the kind of match that Frankie is used to wrestling. So while we see Dorian Weber in control here, Frankie is not someone you want to take lightly. And I think Dorian Weber knows this. He did his little antics. He took Frankie by surprise. He got the upper hand, and now he is trying to grind her into the mat using this chin lock. But Frankie fighting back, and Dorian taking full advantage of every situation he can, pulling the hair of Frankie Quinn to try and get her down. Barely letting Frankie get her breath back, stomps to the gut. But Frankie fighting back every chance she gets. Dorian, a strike right to the middle of the back. And that's not something you see often. Right to the middle of that spine. And that can send shooting pains all around your body. Dorian has clearly started getting in a little bit of extra offense into his arsenal than he normally does. 2 European uppercuts. And again, driving Frankie down to the ring and almost using a Tower of London submission hold on the top of that elbow. And the pressure that this move puts on your tricep, on your shoulder, and on your elbow is absolutely brutal maneuver. Dorian Weber has clearly been doing his homework. He has clearly been training in the lead up to this match. He's understanding Frankie Quinn's speed and athleticism and her ability to counter out of any situation is what wins her matches. So he is just keeping her on the mat, keeping her grounded, really wrenching on that tricep. And guys, and if you remember guys like Johnny Saint and guys like the guy from the Grizzled Young Vets, I'm forgetting his name, they have used that maneuver to the full advantage. It's very hard to get out of, but if anyone can, it's Frankie Quinn with a modified bulldog at that point, a wheelbarrow bulldog, only getting 2 out of Dorian Weber. Dorian Weber, a man that you don't want to be taking lightly. He is tougher than he looks, and he is a lot smarter than he lets people realize, I think. Frankie, I know Dorian there was going for a suplex. Countering out of it, another unique offense we're seeing out of Dorian, almost a modified neck breaker. The winner of the second fall, Dorian Weber. We have got 1 fall to Frankie Quinn and 1 fall to Dorian Weber. We are now in sudden death in this match. That modified neck breaker, I have never seen that out of Dorian Weber before. He has come to this match to win a title belt, and he has come with new offense. But look at Weber there, clutching his ribs. He has been feeling all of those strikes that Frankie's been targeting in on those ribs. And a lot of Frankie's offense really focuses on the midsection and focuses on the torso. And if... Oh, and Dorian there, trying to use a tactic that has won a lot of people falls again. Frankie is just rushing her as fast as she can. But that drop toe hold maneuver, Dorian Weber's head straight into the turnbuckle. And that's what I said, ladies and gentlemen. Frankie Quinn's offense and maneuverability really being targeted at the midsection. Double knee straight into the chest of Weber. Weber looked out of it after that shot to the top turnbuckle. And if he was barely conscious after that, those knees have driven the wind out of Dorian. He could barely defend himself after those. Frankie Quinn, I think, has learned that Dorian Weber is utilizing some new tactics that he's not utilized before. And she is not letting up on Weber at this point, really on the offense. This modified armbar. Almost a modified crossface there. Wrenching on, you've got the abdominal side really being stretched with Frankie locking in that arm. She is wrenching the head, doing a lot of damage to the shoulder muscle, the trapezoid, and the neck. This is a painful submission hold, and you can see that. Dorian screaming in pain, using all the strength he has to muscle Frankie out with a vicious backbreaker. And I think Dorian maybe has sensed a weakness there. We saw him giving strikes right to the middle of the back there of Frankie Quinn. going straight for a backbreaker. And if he keeps that up on the spine of Frankie, she is going to be feeling her legs weaken. She is going to be feeling her arms go numb. Her fingers are going to go numb. It does a lot of damage to your extremities. An offense like that, straight to the spine. Dorian Webber, he is doing less of his antics in this match, and we are seeing a much more vicious and more violent Dorian than we ever saw before. And wrenching on that shoulder on the ropes, and then almost a kick right to the face as Frankie sort of fell forward. That was a vicious, vicious maneuver. But I tell you what, Dorian still can't help himself. Has to play to the crowd. Has to play games. Dorian trying to muscle Frankie up to that top rope. Maybe looking for a superplex. Something that we saw Kartik use for great efficiency against Bobby Wishart earlier in the night. Frankie, though, clearly has been watching the show, clearly been doing her homework, fighting straight out of this move. She knows very well the damage that this could be done. Oh, but driving Dorian. He's a tall man. So his height, straight onto that top turnbuckle, and then falling to the floor. The back of his head slamming off that mat, that will take it out of you. The fact that Dorian has his eyes open is a testament to his toughness, let alone the fact that he just kicked out of that maneuver. The front of his head onto the turnbuckle, the back of his head on the mat, that was vicious. And something we haven't seen from Frankie. While Dorian's bringing new offense into this match, it looks like Frankie is as well. Oh, and Frankie setting those strikes, stunning Dorian against those ropes, and that vicious chops. While Dorian's tangled up, he can't defend himself. Oh my God! I don't know what that was, but pulling Frankie Quinn into a boot of his own. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought we were just about to see a new champion. I'm stunned after that big boot maneuver, almost a short arm big boot, where Dorian pulled Frankie Quinn, using her momentum and his strength against her. And again, Dorian going for the midsection, going for the spine and the ribs and the shoulder of Frankie. Dorian has sensed a weakness, and he is targeting that weakness with ruthless efficiency. And Dorian using his strength, pulling Frankie up to her feet, calling his shot there, but Frankie, if you're going to call your shot against a person like Frankie Quinn, don't do it out loud, because she'll hear you and take full advantage with a sliced bread, a maneuver she has won match after match. This has got to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner and still Hughes Academy Champion, Frankie Quinn. And what an absolute battle from these two. Dorian Webber, something that a lot of opponents take lightly. And I think Frankie might have done that at the beginning of this match, really, letting Dorian's antics get into her head. But the experience, the speed, the athleticism, the wrestling know-how of Frankie Quinn coming out on top. And since winning that belt, the inaugural Hughes Academy Championship, Frankie Quinn has been unbeatable. Frankie has faced bigger opponents, faster opponents, opponents who utilize mind games, and no one has been able to wrench that belt from her grip. I don't know who will be able to take that belt off Frankie,